BK, what?
Dude, the new music it threw me off, man. I wasn't ready.
What's up, man? You had to go a little old school rap, man. A little old school beat, man. That's back in the 90s, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was alive during that time
Yeah.
for a little bit.
Yeah, for a little bit, man. You know what I mean? It's all good, man. Well, welcome to KFL tonight, man. What a freaking weekend, dude. I mean, divisional games went on, and man, we had some surprises, and we had some, some not so surprises. You know what I mean? It's all in all, it's an interesting Final Four, bro.
I think the weekend kind of went as expected for me.
I think so. I think so, but. I don't know. We had talked about it last week, you know what I mean? And I think we were all 4 for 4, right? I think we all
No. I mean, we tried to be a little spicy and give Kusa a little heat, but I mean, if you just took the odds on favorites there, I think if Vegas had pulled every game, I think they get every game, right? I mean, like picking against Kusa at Neely, it's never smart. We'll keep trying it so that when we get it right, we look real smart. But in the meantime, we'll just continue to look dumb. But
yeah, no doubt, man.
You got to play the game, baby.
Got to play. Hey, man. It was a fun weekend, man. Watching it all unfold, man. And one of the games got pushed to Sunday, obviously because of the weather and all that stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I want to say, dude, seriously, no joke, man. My boys in Florida, man. I hope a lot of guys living on that west coast of Florida, man. Y'all be careful, man. This weekend or this week coming up, man. It's no joke.
Yeah, I can tell who the true Florida guys are on my Facebook. They're having a nice laugh about it and not scared. And then all the transplants, they're freaking out. So
no doubt. Listen, man. Let's get into the games, man, and talk about what happened. And we're gonna get some guys on, man, and hear their side of it. But it was, as I said, I thought it was to be expected, man. The home teams themselves showed out, except for one, man. But let's get into that Indianapolis Knights game, man. 172.25 to Bronzebacks, 157-5. And I'll be honest with you, man, this thing was back and forth all freaking day, dude. It was until the very, very end, man. Indianapolis Knights kind of took the lead there at the end and won the game, man. Indianapolis Knights still undefeated, BK.
At home.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Not still undefeated. They
still undefeated at home. Yep. And listen, I got a call from Sam. The Lake record that they've never beaten is 172.25, and they've hit that number three times. 3 times.
That's crazy. That's insane. I did not know that stat.
Yeah.
Interesting piece of juice there. Man, Bronzebacks look
awesome season.
Great season.
Great effort there too, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say just knowing that really changes my scope on the game. Knowing that the home team has never broken 172.5, man, that really kind of puts in perspective, I think, when teams go to Indy and you fish Manitow. Is that how you say it?
Manitow. Yep.
Yeah. That's kind of your benchmark, right? I mean, that's the benchmark. And I think 157.25, man, pretty good effort. Will we have questions about was that their best 4? Yeah, maybe.
I think they did a pretty damn good job. I mean, considering, maybe they could have had another player here or there, but I mean, honestly, look, they were leading all day.
It's for the sake of devil's advocacy here, man.
Yeah. It was a good matchup, man. Pennsylvania, my hat's off to you, man. Heck of a freaking run. Again, well improved from last year, man. Comes out and they go into the divisional round, gives the Knights all they could handle, man. And Mike Elsey hadn't really caught anything all day, and then catches like a 15-7-5 to get the Knights ahead, and then they throw another fish on the board. I think it was Chip Romanovich throws another fish on the board that lays the hammer down, man, and puts the nail in the coffin, man. But the Indianapolis Knights, man, they move on, dude. The underdogs, the kids, man, that we had basically disrespected. I had disrespected in the beginning of the season, said that they were going to be trash, and here they are in the freaking Final Four. Unbelievable.
We'll see how they live up to the hype, because you got the freight train coming.
Yep.
And We now know how good y'all are. I think the entire league knows how good y'all are.
Yep.
I think you want your chance to prove it. You got
Yeah, here
it.
we
Here it
go.
comes.
Exactly, man. And we talked about it's the Massachusetts Maulers, man. 170 and a quarter to Granite State's 162. Wow, man,
Is this
incredible.
well?
I say wow. I'll be honest with you because look, Granite State. Um, man, we talked about it last week. You know, did Granite State get in their own heads when they saw the Massachusetts Maulers beat Motor City and then they came to Granite State immediately? It's like, are they going to get in their heads? And I think they did, but you know what? It doesn't matter what I think, man. Let's do this. Let's get Mr. Mike Marcone to talk about this. Mike Marcone from the Massachusetts Maulers. Congratulations, brother. Good job, man. Way to do it, dude.
Good. Feels good. That was a wild one.
Mike,
that was awesome.
Man, I'll be honest with you, dude. Like I thought you guys were. I mean, look, when you guys went like 0-2. You know, we were believers. Me and BK were still believers. I mean, but I didn't know that you guys would get on a run like you were, man. And I personally, I mean, even though I picked you like last week, I had this doubt in my mind, like, man, Granite State's tough at home, man. They're just tough at home. And I was worried about, you guys, but we were trying to talk behind the scenes, man. You're basically saying, you know what? That's the mentality that you guys have had all year long. Like these doubters are continually doubting you guys, and you just prove them wrong, bro.
Yeah. It was kind of like the movie 300. It's just like put your shields up. Everybody's coming at you, and it's like, let's just go then. Enough talk. It's just like we get tired of hearing, and we don't really care that much about the talk either. It's all just kind of put up or shut up. And, in a weird way, I think – it's a very weird situation, right? So, like, when a team wins a championship, like, look at all these other sports. Generally, you come back the next year with this unbelievable, like, just crazy pressure, right?
Yeah.
And in some wacky way, in my mind, like, we go out and we just stink it up a little bit. And really, if you look at the performances, it's not like it was that bad. We just lost straight up. We just got beat. And that happens in this league, like,
sure.
It's not like we went out there and flamed out. We just got beat. Teams were better than us that day,
Yes.
And I think it just took the pressure off in some wacky way. It was like when we got down in that hole, we just even in the chat, we were like, guys, like it's going to be hyper competitive. Guys are going to lose. People are going to drop games. We're like, let's just go. Like, let's just head down and fish. We got nothing to worry about. It's like, who cares? Like, just lay it all out there, do what we do, and let's see where the chips fall in the end. And I mean, it was a pretty wild ride down the stretch, though, man. It was, when you're looking at going on the road against, three teams that everyone has ranked above you, and it's in our minds we believe we're the best, but you got to go prove it, and it really was a pretty epic run down the stretch. So
it's been, man. I mean, look, you guys have said, you guys have been in playoff mood since week 5, right? You go to freaking Pennsylvania, you got to win in Pennsylvania and on Susky. You pull that one off. Then you head over to Motor City, right, to St. Clair, and you freaking pull that one off, and you destroyed Motor City, right? I mean, that was kind of
solo pick.
I mean, that was incredible. And then Granite State, Mike, let's talk about it, man. I mean, did you guys get in their heads?
I don't know, man. I mean, well, first of all, congratulations, those. I mean, they had a good year, man. They had a great run.
They had a great year.
First season. I know some stuff gets hyped up where it's like this giant. I mean, dude, there's not as much, nonsense as we got a lot of respect for those guys. They're great fishermen. It's really easy. I know the talk about, okay, why not Winnie? Why not? And I look at it two different ways, man. It's, had they gone out there and beat us, everyone would be going, "Oh, what a ballsy move, man! What a smart play! Like they made this crazy switch last minute. They're geniuses, So it's like it could have gone either way. It's the bottom line. Same thing as what happens to us in the beginning of the year. It's just now because of it being the playoffs. Obviously, the implications are crazier. You're going to go out and you're going to lose sometimes, and that's just how it goes. And that's in individual events and team events and all that. It's just sometimes you're going to get beat, and that's just what happened this weekend. It's easy to second guess, but I mean, were we in their heads? I don't know. You know,
Mike, but let's be honest. If you didn't go out and win winning, I don't think that. I think that had a major influence on what happened this weekend.
Yeah, and they're not exactly like. There's also a lot of history that, like, you know, we're looking at things in a vacuum kind of here where we're talking about this year. But I mean, Derek's had a top 5. Ken's had good finishes there. John's done great there. It wasn't just this year. I had a good Hobie BOS. I had, I think, 7th or 6th or 8th and then had a 10th a couple years ago in a KBF event. Like, we've all had good finishes, you know. So they're kind of looking at that, going, "Hey, look, like these guys kind of know the place real well." So in my mind, but here's the other way. I coached football for 5 years, and I was a captain of teams. The other way I look at it is, you know, when you see teams, like when they go to the prevent too quickly, you know what I mean? And it's like, and then all of a sudden you're marching and letting someone back in. That's the other way of looking at it, is like when you either play to win or not to lose. And if you play not to lose, that generally doesn't work out. So like, that's the other side of the coin, you know, and which is correct. I don't know, man. You know,
I want to bring this up because I think to say y'all got in their heads for me is a little harsh. Maybe that's ultimately the reason. I don't know. The decision I don't understand. Their best player this year, while I'm not saying any of the guys on that team are not talented, was Jake. Agreed?
Oh, Jake's phenomenal.
No question. Okay. Yes.
You don't neuter your best player. You put him on his best body of water, period.
Yeah. Well, one thing, so I spoke to Jake at the ramp, and it was just the two of us, and we kind of had a similar experience. This goes into the team thing too, and it's you know, the way I was looking at the event, and in practice, we were all like meleeing fish there, you know, including Jake. And I think in one way that cold front, like when a lake completely gets messed up, sometimes if you have a lot of history versus someone just kind of fishing loose and just being like, look, let's break down the day. We don't know the place as well. Sometimes when you get that kind of wild card, I almost think it benefited us a little bit and may have anywhere we went, but maybe more so there because it's smaller. They kind of stuck to their spots a little longer that they know, you know, traditionally work out. And the lake was just super messed up. I mean, it really was. It looked like really good because at one point we, like Derek and I are just on the stream going back and forth, and John's crushing numbers. So it looks like the fishing's great, but the quality was real bad. And the fishing was pretty fast and furious in practice, but we were catching 17s, 18s. I mean, it was totally different lake, you know, and so it's like that's another thing that, you know, again, hindsight, it's easy to say, okay, well, that didn't exactly work out, but you know what I mean? I'm not sure that it was a terrible decision by them either. Unfortunately, it's going to be one of those things we're always just going to talk about, and no one really knows, man. I mean,
I'll have to tell you, man, I was pretty impressed with O'Brien's demeanor and his humbleness after the game. He wrote me, you know, he wrote me afterwards, man. And my hat's off to him, man. I mean, it's going to sting, man. There's no doubt about it. But the way they handled it, I thought was awesome. You know what I mean?
You got nothing to hang your head about. I mean, it was a great year, you know, and it's, I think you went up against defending champ. I mean, I think we have a good group. I really do, you know, and that's, if you go out and lose to us, I don't think I mean, we can get beat just like everybody else, but I don't think there's any shame in that either.
There's
I mean, it's
no shame whatsoever, man. I mean,
a lot of experience, you know, so.
Yeah. I just guess back to the point I was saying is we have two teams that play very similar to me in Coosa and Granite. Like, they're both very good, but on almost all lakes. Like, it wasn't like y'all blew them out. But Coosa, no matter how much people say, oh, yeah, we got juice on Neely Henry, we got this, they're like, yeah, then come beat us.
Right.
Come beat us on our best lake.
And I'm going to be honest,
we have the best guy on that lake.
Yeah.
Just come do it. And I felt like they did that to the Slayers. And I felt like Granite State had the opportunity to be like, hey, Marcone, you're a champ here. Brundle's done well. Kim Wood, we have the best angler on the day. He's been the hottest angler all year. Come get him.
Yeah.
And didn't
see, I'm hyper competitive, dude. So like I would like anytime we go on the four of us, we couldn't go out Friday. So we just went to some little dump. We're sitting there at breakfast and we're like, all right, tournament, let's go. We just set up a whole tournament and 4 of us had a tournament, and on a lake we didn't know. And it's like, and we put money in and everything. Cause it's like, dude, we're not just going to go fish for fun. It's like, let's see what's up. We just want to compete.
No, that's called addiction, not competitive.
Yeah. Oh no. Hey, dude, you're not wrong at all.
Speaking of Coosa, man, Mike, if you don't mind, I'm going to get another guest that we're going to have in here, man. I want to kind of talk together as anglers, man. Celebrate this, man. But Virginia Reapers, man, they're going to Coosa. They do beat the Hogs, and part of that is this guy right here. Speaking of competitive, Justin Curtis, man, what is up, dude?
What's going on, Greg?
One of the most competitive guys I know, man. So, hey, man, welcome, dude. Congratulations, Virginia Reapers, too, man. Good God, what a season, man.
Yeah, it's been really good. Hey, don't congratulate me. It was the other 3 guys that fished this past weekend. They did really
dude, you've been on target all year, man. And dude, you won MVP week 9. I mean, you're a vital part of this team. You've had a hell of a season, Justin. Congratulations on making it to Coosa, man. I mean, that's Final Four, baby.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We're all extremely excited to go down there and tempt these guys on their own bodies of water.
So, like Mike was talking, man, talking about the competition. I'll talk to you guys both about it, man. What is it? Either one can answer this question, man. What does it mean now that you're in the Final Four, man? What does it mean? I mean, all the hard work, man, that you guys put in this year. Talk about what your team is like right now, man.
I mean, I'll go first. I mean, we're all super stoked. Obviously, we've had I wouldn't call haters, but we had a lot of doubters, and I completely understand why. We've got a lot of guys in our team that don't play national. We don't play national tournaments, so you don't have any statistics to kind of base our abilities on. But I think a lot of people are a little shocked at what we can do. And honestly, for me personally, when it comes down to fishing, I'm not necessarily concerned about the other players on the team fishing the same waters where I'm. It's about my ability to go find fish. It's really that simple. I try to keep things as simple as possible. And all the guys, we know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, and we try to work with our strengths. It's really simple. It's not rocket science.
Right on.
Justin, you all had doubters because you would come out one week and look like you knew how to fish, and then next week when we would pick you, you would shit the bed. It wasn't because we didn't know y'all nationally or fish national events. It was because every time we were like, you know what, dude, we were wrong. Let's put faith in them. We were like, well, they are who we thought they were.
Well, listen, so I mean, I don't want to take up too much of the time, but I can go exactly down the line as to what happened in each game, and it's very. Sure. And the 2 losses we lost to you guys on Dyson. That was one of my biggest mistakes. I left 30-pound, not 100-inch bass because they weren't biting. And we lost beaver. We lost beaver less than the 14-inch keeper.
Yeah.
And we were literally fishing the cold front. My trolling motor goes out, and I'm trying to keep it from going out of bounds 20, 50 yards behind me. And
Justin, we have another show for this, man.
Hey,
it's not this one.
So yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I think we don't get it. Obviously, we're not getting it. We've got a little recognition now because where we're at. But
oh my God, no, you got a huge recognition.
Yeah, come on.
You got one of the biggest followings in the KFL.
I think. Hey, look, Justin, I appreciate y'all playing. We're the little guys. We don't get any recognition, but bro,
you get to this
the Knights maybe have been drawn on. And like Marcone was talking about earlier, like when they were hearing the noise, it's because like when you are the champion, people expect you to be great, not good. You should win every game. And so now that y'all are winning, like you guys are getting the praise. Like y'all are little guys. Like everybody knows your roster now. We
know that, BK. But I think we still play as we're the underdogs, man. And honestly, that's probably not going to change for no matter what we do this year, next year, that's not going to change.
Right.
It's like what you were talking about, Marconi. Like we don't, we hear all the noise and everything. I'm not impacted by that. At the end of the day, I either lost myself or I won it, by finding them. It's not based on anybody else, honestly. So we're going to keep that perspective, man. But I'm really excited for everybody. We've got a pretty good mix of guys on our team where I think we're just a hodgepodge, man. Like if you had to break down the United States as this type of guy, blue collar. We got a white collar guy. We got military guys. I'm a real estate agent, who fishes. Believe it or not, you got a guy.
Great haircut. 10 out of 10.
Love it.
Like I just got a little movement there. I don't know you that well.
Yeah, man. There you go. There you go. I'm jealous. I wish I had that kind of. Yeah.
But I won. It's nice to have y'all on because we are looking at the dichotomy of the league. We have the returning champs making it to the Final Four, and then we have what was labeled to me as the redheaded stepchildren of Virginia. No offense to my redheaded people out there, but this startup team that was coming to challenge the Privateers and the Warhawks, and there's one still standing, and it's not either of the two that we know. So I mean, the league is just crazy, man. I mean, it's.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and then This is no ego driven. This is. I'm trying to be as humble. Say this as humble as possible. We haven't played our best yet. I haven't played my best yet.
I love it. I love that.
That's all of us. We've got tremendous amount of potential. So once we get in our groove, and some of us do plan on fishing some national stuff next year. We're only going to get better. So we're not going to let this year kind of dictate how we're going to do in the future. That's not how we're playing. Like I said, we're going to be underdogs until. I always played with underdog. I grew up playing baseball, football. I walked into the football team in college and golf the same year. Nice. So I'm very competitive, but I'm not somebody that's, once I'm on the water, and if I lose like an A+ pounder like I did back at Burt Mills, yeah, you're going to hear my voice go up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I apologize about that. But yeah, deep down inside, I don't like to lose. I shouldn't lose. I think I am the best angler out there if I'm playing my best and I get to know what I'm doing. I'm not necessarily concerned with anybody else in the water because I can find fish just as best of them. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get on a bite. That's all.
Man, I love I love both of y'all saying this stuff about like competitiveness, but something that both y'all's teams do very well that I keep harping on. I know Greg is like sick of hearing me say this on the phone to him because we talk about it every week after the game's in. Your teams catch limits. You have the guys that can catch bigs, but generally when y'all win, it's not like 4 24-inch fish and then some like all 19s. You guys don't put up mega backs. You're just like week in, week out. I know y'all will go catch fish. Right. And there are so many teams that if they're looking for guys to pick up, this is the model that works. It just is.
Yeah.
Every
team left in the playoffs catches fish.
Guys, I got both of you guys on here for a reason. I wanted both of you guys to kind of talk about, you guys are now the traveling teams. You guys are going to be the underdogs. You're going to be going to, Mike, you guys are going to Indianapolis. Justin, you're going to go to Coosa. What is your mentality? You guys, both your teams, even though, Mike, you guys are the defending champions, I mean, you guys are having to go, once again, travel on the road and try to do this and get to the championship on the road. What is the mentality of your teams right now, having to try to accomplish this big feat? Mike, let's start with you, man.
Well, that's actually something we discussed, being that we kind of went through the whole thing last year. We're like, damn, this travel sure is different this year. That regular season performance, like, we're paying for our stumble now, in travel, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But then the other side of that coin is like, dude, we've been doing this for, like you said, weeks now. And we have a huge amount, maybe more than almost any team, of national travel on our roster. So this is very like, this is nothing to us. This is just part of the game. Like travel, who cares? This is just what we do. We're all kind of insane, so it's just kind of driving 15 hours through the night and being on the water the next morning on 2 hours of sleep is like, let's go, let's line it up. So who cares? We don't care. It's so we're just ready to go always because we would do this stuff for free, man. It's like BK said, I mean, it really is kind of an addiction. We're into it and it's authentic. That's why I love these guys. It's so like-minded. It's ridiculous. There's never been infighting. And you see some of the roster choices early and guys are going, why are these people playing? Why are these people playing? And everyone, we know our strengths. We have total confidence in one another. And we're all just completely psychotic and out of our skulls and into this. And again, we would do it for nothing,
I know that because I hop on broadcast and Derek Brundle is looking at his live scope, singing to it.
Oh yeah.
For like 2 or 3 minutes straight, yanking up fish. And I was like, what am I watching here? This is Derek Brundle,
psycho.
Right? Insane.
Absolute psychopath.
But I'm talking about, you want to see a guy just out there having fun. Like, he's literally singing to it and he's like, oh yeah, come on.
Hey, on the other side of that though, I have a challenge for you. I would love to see anyone look at a friggin' live scope for 9 hours and not lose their mind a little bit. Like, you're just sitting there like little dots for like leaned over, and it's like I think he maybe just snapped a little and was having a really good time too. So it was like it was a positive breakdown, but it was
just hilarious to watch this guy that if you only know of Derek Brundle, you're like, man, this guy's probably real serious on the water.
No, he's so
business, and then you tune in, and you're like, what am I watching?
No, he's a goofball, man.
It's a great conversation, and Justin and Mike are both very qualified to do this, man. I mean, has live scope really changed the mentality of you and as an individual angler, and how has it helped your team?
Yeah, it definitely has. I've had experience with live scope for over 4 years now, fishing with on a boat. A buddy of mine, I just got my live scope on my kayak actually a year ago. And what I've noticed with especially a lot of guys, not just Virginia Reapers, but maybe even you, Greg, and your team and the other Virginia team, the privateers, I think a lot of those guys are just used to fishing shallow, fishing shallow cover. So me as an asset, I know guys have live scope and they're horrible with it. They can't figure it out. I think it makes fishing sometimes too easy, to be honest with you, when you're for fish. I mean, it is, and then I'm not saying that. Well, but there's a caveat to that. So, for example, at Burnt Mills, I know that lake very well. I've been fishing ever since I was knee high, and those fish, fortunately, the schooling fish were cooperating, and they were set up the way that I wanted to set up, and they were going to bite. But that wasn't going to be a guarantee. But the problem guys get in with the live scope is they just get stuck on exactly that. They're trying to catch a fish for 30 minutes to an hour. You've got to learn. You got to treat it just like you can't see them, like an offshore spot. If they're not going to bite, 5 baits with 3 casts, then move on. Like, you got to keep moving. So as for me being on the Reapers, I understand that the offshore bite is usually, I got it. If there's an offshore bite, I'm going to find it. Period.
Wow, Mike. What about you guys? I mean, it looks like all 8 of you guys were pretty much on live scope at Great Estate.
Yeah. Well, that was my second tournament ever with it. So I have, you can go through and I'm never going to say I'm the best guy, but I kind of quietly have done pretty well nationally. And it's like, if you go through some events, I have a lot of, I won Lake George KBF. I think there was 100 something guys, and I had side scan and traditional. And so Matt Lee does that as well, I know. And you get so used to Lakers over the years, and doing that kind of deep fishing that it's not that different. The only thing I'll say about the scope is it gives you, it's just far more efficient. You know what I mean? It's like you're not wasting time at all. And then the other thing, and I didn't want to say it on the broadcast, so I noticed something, and I think actually, BK, you had just jumped on, and I kept quote unquote missing bites. So I was watching them on the scope, and I was like, I don't want to mention it because I don't want to give anything away. But they were keying on the drop shot weight 100%, which was and I had one of I ran out of my normal teardrops, and it was just like a long, one of the cylinder ones.
Yep.
And they wouldn't even look at the bait ever. And they were all nose down on the bottom. And I was just like, oh, it's that profile. And then Derek pulled one up, and it puked up a super juvenile brain fart here. The
Goby or crawdad?
No. I'm sorry. I had a bait tied on all day, and my brain is it's broadcast fart. But anyways, smell it. And it was just tiny though, like the exact size of that weight. And Derek picked up on it and had the exact color and size. He had like a downsized drop shot bait, and all of a sudden, and he shortened the leader length a ton so they wouldn't get all distracted by the bottom weight. Now, you could never get that feedback unless you have a scope. You know what I mean?
That's freaking advanced crap there. That's crazy.
Yeah. When you see them actually willing to nose down, is that not like Ned rig time?
No, we did, and
Okay.
so they just did not like and the profile to me looked close, but I could not tell you why. They just wouldn't take it.
Weird, man. That's
Dude, and it was
crazy.
a very finicky bite. Like normally the smallies. So Winnipesaukee, I was on a scope in 65 feet of water. My bait would get down maybe 10, 12 feet in the water column, and the thing would come up like a missile off the bottom. You just see like whoop bang. And it was just so much fun, man. And now that's aggressive. And the other thing is, if you watch the broadcast, slow bite all morning. We're just kind of picking dinks. Sun comes out, hour and a half of just melee. Those fish, they key in on sight and smelt a brighter colored bait. So you get that sunlight, and all of a sudden it was like bang, bang, bang. I mean, we were hammering fish. Cloud cover rolls back in.
All four of you guys had fish at the same time.
So, yeah, and then it shut off again. And it's so, and then we're getting nervous. We're like, are they holding fish? Like, God, this is weird. And it really was just that, the bite was super strange. I mean, and again, this goes back to the team thing. So like, then my mind, I'm thinking strategy, right? I was right next to all the granite guys. Now, an individual tournament, I'll never leave fish to find fish, right? It's just not going to happen. I'm just not going to do it. If I'm on a school, I'll pound them to death. See what happens. See where the chips fall in the end. I knew Derek and those guys were on a good bite. It's like, could I go over there? Okay, sure. Maybe add a couple, but this is where I was like, all right, I had this crazy good chatterbait bite in like 12 feet of water, and they were all big fish. But not many bites. So I just said, you know what? Screw this. I'm sitting here with the granite guys. We're all catching these like 15 at best type, not really helping much. So because it's a team thing, it's like, all right, I don't care about how my stats look. I'm going to roll up there and try to get 2 bites. And it's like, and even early in the year, you got a guy like Conant. Now, I promise you that is one of the best big fishermen you'll ever meet in your life, and sometimes it's easy to criticize. Okay, the stats are this, the stats are that. Well, it's a team game, right?
Yeah.
And we go into this, we want our home run swingers, hitters swinging for the fence. So they're doing things that aren't exactly high percentage all the time, but when you get bit, you're going to get a big bite. And then we have other guys doing the numbers, and you try to make strategy like that. We're really good at getting to that limit, but a lot of times guys are sacrificing what they're like. Ken's another one. Ken is extremely good at finding that big bite. You know what I mean? And it's where John and I and Derek, and we can kind of put up numbers and we'll still mix in a good bite, so all that strategy kind of plays in. It's all the things you're thinking about when you're on the water. And it definitely played, with the scope, but then our overall strategy as well, so
Greg and I talked about that after your matchup. We were like, it is insane on that team how they do it by committee, but based on the lake, there is clearly one guy that kind of gets the free swing because it always shows.
Yeah,
like
and it's
Brundle had what y'all's top 3 fish.
Oh, he killed it. He was on fire. Yeah,
but we're just like it's crazy. Like y'all always do that. It's just like when Ken hits like an 18, 19. Like Ken will have like 3 out of the biggest 4 fish, and then the rest of you guys just like fill it out.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and that's how is that different than individual tournaments? You know what I mean? Like, and we've had a lot of wins in the group. So it's when it's that guy's day, it's like, hey, let's all just. And if you see someone's rolling, takes the pressure off. So I'm like,
it does.
I start to think I'm going to do a home run swing. I don't need the numbers because he's killing it. So I'm just gonna, and maybe that works out, maybe it doesn't. But your stats aren't going to look great. It's just. You're trying to win.
Yeah, but I mean, the confidence, like you said, the confidence of if somebody, it doesn't matter who it is, catching those bigger fish definitely relieves everybody else, and just kind of like, hey man, I'm still free swing. Justin, your team's kind of built that way too, man. I mean, you're used to going out there, like you said, when you were at Burton Mills, you got on that school, man, and it was very impressive. You gave all the information away, and then you had like 2 or 3 guys next to you, kind of just boom, 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 catch it at the same time. But the river was a little bit different against the hogs,
right?
What was the strategy of your team going in? Because, I mean, Michael Thornton wound up putting up like a couple bigs for you guys. And I'm sure you guys are just like, oh, my God, thank God. Because Corey Hopper put up a 19.75 early, right? And you guys were putting up fish, but nowhere near the size. And then once Michael Thornton threw up that big, it's kind of like, oh, man, here we go, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I personally, that body of water, I do not like. I can fish I just, if I had a day of fun fishing, that'd be way down on the bottom of
no question.
So,
Yeah.
So that was a strategic place to pick, and it showed. But the other three guys, and even the guy that was supposed to fish and Michael actually fished instead for Jeremy, they know how to fish that lake. And I lost 2 giants in cover. So that was my game. I was going to catch giants or not. We pre-fished. That body of water is full of dinks, and then you'll catch a 20-incher. You know what I mean? So I found an area. I called an 18 and I called a 19. I'm like, all right, I'm probably going to do this, but I was already confident, and the team was confident that I know that 3 other guys were going to catch a limit. And like we mentioned before, in this team environment where we're dealing with 10 fish for 4 guys, if you don't catch a limit, you're not going to win. You've got to catch limits.
Truth.
That's true. At the end of the day. So, but yeah, I mean, on that body of water, that was just going to be one of those deals where we caught a limit, and the bite was going to be a timing issue. We just had a cold front come through. It was 45 degrees that morning.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, it was bad. But yeah, I mean, it was just, I was confident, like you were mentioning about, hey, if these guys are on them, it takes the pressure off your shoulders trying to, catch a limit or just catch fish in general. So once I started seeing that Michael got his, he almost lost his. I don't know if he told you a story about that, but
no,
his bait came, he had to take his entire arm underneath to get to the fish because it was wrapped around a piece of cover.
Oh man.
Wow. The water's down like 4 feet up there. So, but yeah, I mean, he got it. He made it through. They know that water. They like fishing that water. And I was confident personally, and as a team, that we were gonna catch a limit. It was a matter if the Hogs were gonna figure something out, and it was gonna be a battle of the bigs trying to call those fish.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you guys a question. You guys have to travel. Mike, let's start with you. You guys go out to Indy. What have you heard? What have you seen? What do you know about Indianapolis, and how are you guys going to go prepare for that match?
Oh, we've already been. We have a lot of time put into all this, and we're all kind of we're junkies. I mean, dude, calling it addiction is really accurate. It can be almost like, like marriage, family life, money. It can be a little destructive. You know what I mean? So
it can. You're right, though.
Yeah. And so, but that said, like, as much as I want to go watch, Kardashian butt cheeks or like some other thing, like pretty much what I do is I go home and I watch fishing YouTube videos, and it's what I love to do. That and bow hunting. It's like, I just love it so much that's all I do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and I'm happy in that spot. Like for me, it's not a job or work. It's like, oh, give me a lake to break down. Hell yeah, I'll look at that. I'm bored anyway. Like, let's go. And I sitting at home, I have no interest in anything else. And it's that's just what I like now. It's when I was younger, it was all sports, football. Like I said, I coached high school for 5 years. I captained all the teams I've been on. I love that stuff, but man, it's just changed for me. And I'm so obsessed that, and so my guys, my teammate, I mean, you don't even have to question, dude. I already know what they're doing. They're putting in crazy time. Any YouTube video you can find, especially the older blogs, where guys would actually,
or even the KFL games. I mean,
John was messaging about the KFL game today, middle of the day. So we're already well underway. I got to meet Mike Elsey 2 years ago down in Florida. He roomed with us. It was me, Derek, Conan, Elsey, a couple other guys, I think. And I mean, what a good dude. That guy's awesome. And you want to talk about
passionate.
You want to talk about real deal too. I mean, that dude is awesome. And that's no BS. I mean, he's a national champ. That's not a fluke. The guy is one of the best in the country, period, anywhere.
Right.
And and he's a humble guy and not some loudmouth. So sometimes maybe he doesn't get that crazy attention that some of the other guys that make a scene get. But Mike's we have the ultimate respect for that dude. So we expect to have our hands massively full. I mean, I don't even know if they've lost out there. You know what I mean?
They've never lost at home.
Never lost.
Yeah. But this is nothing new, though. I mean, it's just like, let's go. That's perfect. Okay, it's going to be a pain in the ass.
Well, neither is Granite State.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go. Mike, do you guys know who's going?
I think so. I don't know if we're definite on that. We do. We have some schedule issues, but we feel like we have a pretty damn good largemouth group going. I'm not 100% sure though. I think probably get that later this week.
That's fine.
We're working out some details. It's
no, that's
there's a lot of guys in a little bit of trouble with travel and
Yeah.
So we're working on it. We'll figure it
out. I hear you, Justin. Let's get back to you, man. Coosa, again, another area that their team has never lost at home. What have you learned? What do you know about Coosa, and what's your guys' plan?
I mean, we've done basically what was already mentioned here prior. YouTube videos, definitely the old footage of watching that team fish. We have an idea of where they fish consistently and kind of homing that down as far as where we potentially need to be. But, I mean, we've got the best river fishermen on our team going there. So, we win as a team, we lose as a team. And all the research and the talk. And honestly, I'll be honest, we talk about fishing history. Fishing history hurts a lot of guys.
That's true, man.
Level. I mean, you've got guys that have been fishing the same bodies of water since 10, 15, 20 years. They're jackpotting these little derbies that they have and whatnot. But I tell you what, sometimes that can really hurt you. It hurts me. I just take that stuff and put it out the way and just focused on fresh information I can gather or what the team can gather to kind of help us put something together. But we can sit and talk about the guy. I forgot his name. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Coley McGowan.
Yes, that dude just rips lips down there in that river.
Of course. Yeah.
Gosh.
Crazy. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, all right, he can go down and he's got his spots. So we're just going to find our spots. It's really that simple. Like, again, like we don't, we recognize talent. We recognize guys that can fish, but at the end of the day, it's like the guys that are going down there, they've got to put in the work and they got to find the fish and they got to get them to bite on game day. It's just trying to keep things super, super simple.
Yeah. I kind of like that, man. I mean, don't overthink it, right? I mean,
I think. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead, Mike.
I just want to add to what he said. I think what he's saying is, it is interesting that it's quote unquote a team thing, but fishing is still like very much an individual sport, or if you want to call it a sport, whatever you want to call it. It's activity, and it's really everything else is bullshit. Like who you're playing, where you are, what the weather is. You have to go out and just handle your business, and that's all that matters. I mean, and that really is true. It's oversimplified, but like it's a team thing, yes, and there's team strategy, all that's great, but you just have to go handle business, and that's it. If you focus on anything else, good luck, man. I mean, it's easy to get distracted.
So let me ask you guys a question. BK, I'll let you answer this first, man. Do you think these teams and these individuals in tournaments, they always try to find somebody else's spot and fish their fish, and they try to go on these scavenger hunts trying to figure out, well, this guy must be fishing up here, I need to go up here, and rather than just breaking down a body of water, keeping it simple, just go freaking trying to find fish, man. They're so worried about where other people are fishing rather than trying to fish the lake.
Yeah, look, man, I think every time I fished a tournament and I've tried to like get smart, I've tried to like big brain this shit. I'm like doing calculations of how many guys I think are in a creek or whatever. Like it never works out, man.
It doesn't.
Would I have had any success in a tournament? It's when I literally just go out and kind of just do my own thing, and I get opportunities to win. And like, then it's just, can you convert, right?
Yep.
Like, it's not about anybody else or what they do. Like, I've lost tournaments where I just didn't execute, and I won tournaments where I didn't have any business winning or cashing a check in a tournament where I didn't have any business doing that. And there is, I mean, Craig, we talk about it all the time, man. Like, hindsight's 2020. Like, yeah, man. Like, I've had tournaments where I've done bad, where I did go out and do my own thing. But like Justin said, it's like fresh info. And like in my practice, just the way it went, I could not get enough information. I didn't get enough bites. I didn't get this. But do I think people do that? Yeah, man. Like, it's so hard to not get distracted unless you are like supremely confident.
The reason why I bring that up, I love the Southern Slayers, but just talking with those guys, it seems like they were worried about more like where's Waldo than where's the fish. You know what I mean? Like they were trying to find Coley and McGowan and where he's fishing and, and where's this guy and where's that guy. And we saw this guy rather than, man, just go freaking find fish. You know what I mean? I think a lot of teams that go to Coosa, I think that's a problem. I think that's their problem, man.
Yeah,
you're killing yourself. That's you can't. If you're thinking about anything else, you're not focused, you know. And hey, this summer, man, so my wife and I just found out we're having a third, you know. So
Congratulations, man.
Nice,
dude.
Okay, sure, you know. No, I'm just kidding. It's gonna be great, but
yeah,
but the fishing thing is gonna be tough, you know. And it's I kind of the second half of the year, it just I just fished. I just don't. You just fish so loose, you know. And it's like I've really learned about the mental side as I've gotten more experience. And it's how many guys do you see like posting the practice pictures, or like you said, paying attention where this guy is, or that guy's here, or this launch saw his truck here. So, dude, I don't even think about that stuff. I'm just like I don't. I swear to God, I don't. I'm like I'm just going fishing, you know. And I know how to fish, and so do all of you guys. But why do we see so many guys game day choke, you know? And it's like I mean there's no other explanation. It's not physical, you know what I mean? There's no explanation other than, you know, maybe you overthink it, maybe too preoccupied with what somebody else is doing. Maybe sometimes it's bad luck, sometimes what, you know. But I really think that mental state, that confidence in what you're doing and just fishing loose, and just at the end of the day, it's just fishing. Sometimes we make it way more than that.
Ain't that the truth, man?
That's all it is, man. Just go fishing, you know.
That's
and
true.
The other stuff is not real. It's all in your head, you know. Everyone knows most of us know how to go out and catch fish, you know.
Yeah.
And you'll get confidence, and it's when you get clicking like that, you just see guys get in this groove and they're out winning everything. You know what I mean? And there's no other real way to explain it other than that mentality, in my mind, anyway. I mean, I could be dead wrong, but that's just the way I see it. You know,
I 1000% agree with it, because the guys that are consistent since I've been kayak fishing don't care.
Yeah,
they go find their own fish. They do their own thing. They just literally don't care at all. Justin, man, talk to us, because like you're the one with like the lake, the pressure, the undefeated. I mean, there's some of that for the maulers, but God, dude, they're the maulers. Come on, bro. I mean, you know, but y'all are the reapers, and y'all don't get any respect, right? So I mean, for all of us doubters out there.
No, like I mentioned, we actually kind of like it. But yeah, you can't. I think that's probably. It's funny you guys mentioned that, because I was actually thinking about this today earlier. I was like, I wonder how many teams have tried to beat Coosa by trying to find out where Coosa fishes. I'm thinking, as much as water you have to fish, if you're an individual who fishes tournaments and your mentality is to go find where someone else's fish. You still have a huge learning curve to go, or maybe you do. You're just trying to think it might be an easy process. I tell guys all the time, they're like, you got to go find your own fish, you know, because finding your fish in the same body of water is different than it is for me or for another guy. I mean, just watch any professional tournament and watch how guys catch them differently, even on small lake fisheries. You know what I mean? And I think that's where people get lost. Like, you know, people will go, hey, what'd you catch them on, and where did you catch them? No, it's why did you catch them there? Like, even my worst fishing days, I learned more in my worst fishing days than the days that I actually catch them.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And you know, I'm very passionate about fishing. I tell guys, like, I don't necessarily have to fish tournaments. I fish because I like it, because it's a challenge. You know, I'm out to against. I play golf, and golf was the same way. Can't stand golf. Don't ever offer me to play golf, Greg. Just heads up. But
bring that sauce. Yeah.
I think so many guys, and if you're a weekend warrior, you know, you work a 9 to 5 and you just like to fish, but you take, like, if I go fishing, it doesn't matter if I go with a buddy of mine, which he doesn't fish with me that much no more, because I do take it seriously. Not to the point where it's not fun, but he'll go, hey man, let's go fish here. I want to catch some big ones. Let's go catch a big bag. I'm like, cool. Because then he'll let me control the boat. I'll start making decisions, and he doesn't want to do that. And I think guys who think they can get into, whether it's individual tournaments or if it's a team tournament, you can't have that mentality. You have to be able to have enough. You can tell me exactly what you were catching them on, where you were catching them. The conditions can be the same. If I go out there, it doesn't mean I'm going to catch them just like you did.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. You still got to catch them. You know what I mean?
So that's where, you know, it's interesting doing this whole team thing. This is my first year. And, you got to kind of find that fine line between how much do you like. If a guy told me, hey, they're biting, if I know there's an offshore bite, right? I'd rather fish offshore. It's just, that's what I'd rather do. In the summertime, that's what I want to do.
Sure.
But seems like, hey, man, I'm smashing them on a chatterbait in 5 foot of grass. I'm like, okay, but I'm catching them I'm catching them out here on the main lake points. And there's
they bifurcate. I mean, in the summertime, especially, I mean, you're going to catch half the lake in shallow and half the lake out offshore. I mean, a lot of times your bigger fish go in cooler water. They try to find that cooler water, man. So, learning that offshore bite, I think it's critical, man.
And I think one more thing I like to say is guys, they out practice their practice. So if you find something, hopefully you got a day or two at least to prepare for these tournaments. If you find something, don't beat it up, kind of expand on it. Now, granted, we're only fishing one day. We're not fishing Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
So go out on Saturday and blow it up, right?
I could write you a book about that, how to do that, man.
Trust me. Greg is the expert.
Guys, I want to go over these last couple scores here too, man. Reapers, man, 165.5. That's actually a damn good score on Blackwater, man. That was a heck of a performance. And Arkansas came up short at 133, man. Again, Reapers win. They're going to Coosa. Coosa, I mean, look, man, that's one of the biggest bags we've seen on Coosa, man. Neely Henry showed out big time. Freaking Coley McGalley had 170 inches himself, but 187.5 to 162.5. I will tell you, I'm a little concerned about Coosa. And the reason why I say that is because with this storm coming through, man, a lot of rain is going to be dumped this week on that body of water, around that area, man. I don't know if it's really going to, affect Alabama as much if that storm goes west or whatever. But you're probably going to see at least 2-3 inches of rain, if not more. That could affect everything, man. The creeks, the main river, the lake itself. I mean, I think it's going to be a completely different fishery, Justin, than what they're used to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I even mentioned. I mean, I think the update today was that the storm's supposed to hit Florida Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely going to be a key factor in going down to Alabama and fishing that river. And you're absolutely right. I haven't kept up enough to see where now that I'm a newbie to this first year with a team, but hindsight is 2020. I'm looking back and going, okay, so if we're expecting to play some of these teams with some of these body of water, probably want to pay attention to weather conditions, bring up a weather underground app and just kind of see how they're fishing and what type of conditions they are fishing.
Yeah.
But the Coosa River is the Coosa River, man. I mean, you've got pro anglers from all across, different organizations that actually live on or nearby that body of water. So,
right.
I mean, you can watch. It's easy to find some YouTube videos on Coosa River. It's not hard. There's lots of them.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it affects it. I mean, again, and what could be great about it is, if it does get there Saturday, you have an entire week, and they're going to be pulling water all the way through, man. And so you'll have a current bite, which hopefully that will fire. I mean, both bites up, man. We'll see us the slugfest, man. Who knows?
No disrespect to the Reapers here, but I think we do owe Coosa credit. As much as we hear about cold fronts or water fluctuation, they have not faltered.
No,
they have found them every time.
Every single time.
It's been very, very impressive. I know people get tired
I
of seeing them blow people off.
I know Indianapolis has not lost, in 2 years. I still think Neely Henry's the greatest home field advantage in the KFL.
Hands down.
Yep.
Yeah. The margin by which they win by at home is impressive.
It's scary. It's scary. But congratulations to both your teams, guys, and making it to the Final Four, man. It's exciting. You're one step away from the championship, man, at Chickamauga. The championship is October 29th. That week, man. I wish the best for your teams, man. It's going to be freaking insane. Can the Maulers repeat in this gauntlet? BK, that would be ridiculous if they go back to back. Ridiculous.
Oh, man. Don't know.
I'm sure we can. I mean, will we? We'll see, man. Every game is just another game, man. Just line it up and go. And if we win 2 more, we'll have a big old check. And if not, we give it one hell of a run, so it's just
no doubt, man. No doubt. I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, Marcon, don't dookie on our talking point here. We got to buiد it up. Okay?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
I forgot.
You look at this. I mean, your team started. I mean, you guys have gone to the Susky. You've gone to St. Clair. You've gone to what was it called? Wappam.
Oh, dude, I don't even know.
Not Winnie, not
weird
Winnie,
name. Wampanoag or something like that.
Whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, but it's a lake right next door to Winnie, and then you're going to go out to Manitou, and then possibly end the season at freaking Chickamauga, man. I mean, that's crazy. That's a hell of a ride, man.
Yeah. No, after Granite, we were standing around the parking lot, and it started to kind of sink in. We're like, damn, it's a pretty crazy stretch on the road. I mean, it's because you drop any of them, you're done. I mean, that's so especially with Rhode Island winning the week that we beat PA, so that would I think bumped us, and like there were all these scenarios where we knew going back weeks and weeks that any loss. So I mean, you could even go to Slatersville before Pennsylvania, and you could go to all these road games against, and these aren't like garbage teams, you know what I mean? Like any one of those teams could beat us any day,
Yeah.
So it was it's been a pretty epic run. But I'll tell you straight up, we're not feeling I swear to God it's genuine. There's no pressure, man. We're just going. It's like we know we're on a crazy run, and it's just another game. That's all it is. And there's no pressure. We have the ultimate respect. We respect all these teams, but we're focused on us. We're working as hard as we can work. We're not going to lose for lack of effort. I mean, I'll tell you that. So, and we'll just see where the chips fall, man. I mean, I feel good about our chances, but you know what? It's the KFL. It can get crazy. So who knows?
It can. And to be fair, I mean, the Reapers by far have been road dogs too. I mean, these guys have gone to Carolina. They've gone to Tar Heel. They've beat Corey Dreyer. They swept Corey Dreyer. Beat them twice. I mean, that's not an easy task. You know what I mean? So these guys could travel too, man. It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens, man. I'm looking forward to it, guys. I wish you guys the best of luck, man. It's gonna be very, very, very interesting. We're gonna preview. Obviously, we're gonna give our picks and preview what happens next week. But guys, give them hell, man. It's gonna be fun.
Hell yeah! Oh, the boys are ready.
Well, boys, thanks for coming on tonight, man.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Guys. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, Greg.
Right.
You guys. BK, man. It's going to be interesting. We're not going to make our picks here, but like we said, man, these scores are, I mean, look, Indy Knights are hosting the Maulers, and the Coosa Kingfishers are hosting Reapers. Job well done, man. You know what I mean?
Teams this week, man, that needed to take care of business took care of business. Like
they sure did.
Just no other way to put it, man.
Yeah.
Indy didn't falter. Maulers continue what they keep doing, which is beating everybody on their home water.
Yep.
Reapers, like we said, need to put the Hogs away in that game, especially the Hogs being a man down. And Coosa continues to show everybody why you do not want to fight them on Neely Henry, because they will beat you by 20 plus.
I guess the theme I really want to kind of hammer home, man, the regular season matters, dude. Hosting these games at home is such a huge deal, right?
It's huge.
It is.
If the Kingfishers and Slayers swap seeds, we'd be talking about a real different playoff picture. But Coosa took care of business. They earned it. And this is what the rest of the league gets rewarded with is you get to take a trip to Neely Henry and get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I mean, it could go either way. I mean, one little hiccup here and there, but you know what? I think if we look back, what really solidified Coosa, that game that they won at Florida, won them probably the championship. If it goes all the way,
maybe.
I'm serious because like they held serve at home by that game.
I hear that. What I'm saying is, they may go all the way to the championship. I am salivating over Coosa Maulers at
don't respect the Knights, man. The Knights,
the Knights could do it.
They could do it too.
But I'm not too scared to say that's a matchup I would love.
If you were set the odds or the spread, what would you make Coosa right now? Point favorite.
Out of the 4 teams left to make it to the championship or on chip?
No. Virginia versus Coosa. Where would you set the spread?
18.
I was going to say 15. Yeah.
Like, I know Coosa probably gets frustrated to be like picking against them and stuff, but I'm not an idiot. Like, I recognize what they do at Neely Henry. I'm not sure if that's shocking news to them or whatever, but like they are very good there. Like, very, very good. Like you said, it is the best home field advantage. I know the Knights have never lost, but the games are tight and they can be decided off one guy on a heater.
Correct.
At Coosa, you have to beat Coley and then the rest of them.
Right. Well, hey, I will be remiss, man. I want to give a shout out to the Southern Slayers, man. They went in there and they didn't shit the bed, dude. They put up a really, really good bag, man. 162.5 at Coosa, man. They've had a heck of a season, dude. Matt Vogt, Dwayne Dwyer, Josh Deal, those guys, man. I mean, you know, they've had a heck of a season too, man. I mean, they started out rocky. They trying to figure out the whole team thing. And, you know, Brandon Hewlett himself, too, was a heck of an angler throughout the year, too, for him, man. The Slayers, man, like they said, like they posted, they're going to come back next year, man. You better watch it. This team is no joke. They're going to come back strong, man.
Yeah,
I think they've learned a lot this year.
Yeah, I mean, and they did, but you can go back to that game Coosa won at Slayers, man.
That's it, and they said that. That's what they look back at the season, and that one stung them.
Yeah. Yep. But I mean, Coosa 100% earned this.
Yep.
Southern Slayers, it's nice to give them the salute off, but I'm not gonna like disrespect what those guys are about and say good effort because I know that stung. Like, I know that stinks.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
They are ultra competitive. Like,
they're
very respectful guys.
Yeah.
But man, I know that stung.
It's gonna. I mean, it's gonna. Like I was talking to Steve O'Brien. He was like, "This one's gonna sting all winter long." I mean, this is gonna be like you probably need to do some buddy checks on some of these guys.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. It's gonna sting. And then Arkansas Hogs, man. Man, question why they didn't bring 4 or commitment to bring 4. I know things happen, man. As a long travel. Hell, we did it. Not bringing 4, man, I thought really hurt the Hogs there. But, I mean, Virginia Reapers, they did what they had to do on the river, man. But the Hogs, another great season. It's, they've got a lot to learn too, man. They've got to have, they got to get some guys on there that are committed to the team. And, hopefully they'll button up that team and really make a run for it, man.
Look, let's just start at square one. From year 1 to year 2, vastly improved. Congratulations huge. On the season.
Huge.
Well done.
Yep. Joe McElroy is watching. Congratulations, Joe, on his performance too. There.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean, absolutely threw a bunch of 18s and stuff on the board, man. Unbelievable.
But for the Hogs, I know they went hard on offseason acquisitions. I hope they will take a hard look at that and see that sometimes people just aren't a great fit for the league or maybe even the team environment and stuff like that because the Hogs are really close to being elite.
Yeah.
And they have elite talent, definitely.
Yeah.
But it didn't quite click, man. It just never really clicked.
Well, I'll use the Southern Slayers as an example, man. A lot of guys don't know a lot of these guys on the Slayers, but they've become a great team, right? There is great individual anglers out there that just don't belong in the KFL. I mean, they just don't because they just don't know how to work as a team, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that harsh. I'm just gonna say it is a different learning curve.
It is
it's just different. And
well, it's also it's also the commitment that you have to make. It's a commitment all season long, man. I mean.
I'm just saying there are guys that are better suited for it, adjust better, because like I'm not going to say that it can't work, because if you look at the Maulers, you're like, Jesus Christ, they've won like 30 national events between their team roster, but they get it.
But Mark Cohn was just telling us. I mean, there's an addiction. I mean, like they'll do it. They would even do it for free if they had to. There's a different mentality with it. It's their life.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but they don't have to be the guy. They share information. They do certain things.
Yeah.
Where like that's a hard thing. I mean, like we saw teams this year acquire a lot of talent. Some of those pickups were very good. Other ones need a little work. So
Yep. And also want to emphasize Grant State Sticks, man. Angelus, Lee, Kukulis, O'Brien, Tammy, all those. Jeff Matava ran a great broadcast too, man. I mean, great team, man. Great team. It's when you go 7-1, it's kind of, they remind me like the Patriots or something. I mean, dominant through the regular season, man. It's just they'll have to look back at the decision and figure out what went wrong and all that stuff. But I think you nailed it when you said, when you take your best guy off his best water and make him basically handicapped.
You neuter him, man.
Yeah, you neutered him.
You can't do that. You cannot do that.
No. I mean, when the guy averages like almost 170 inches on that best water that they had, man, that's tough.
I brought it up because Coosa is the polar opposite of that. They don't go, hey, Coley McGowan, you know what? We got the Slayers coming in town. We're going to go to Gunnersville. Cool, right?
No, that's not going to happen. No, it's not going to happen.
You don't
Coley,
do that.
Coley, like, I heard he fished pissed off last week. Well, it sure showed. And I don't want to ever fish against a pissed off Coley McGowan.
And I'm not saying he can't fish Gunnersville. But what I'm saying is that guy owns Neely Henry.
Yep.
You let him fish. Let
the big dogs eat, man. There's no doubt about it. And Pennsylvania Bronzebacks, man. Again, this team came together very, very well this year, man. Learned a lot, and man, made some exciting matches. And I think if they look back at themselves, they can look back at that loss against Norfolk, at that other lake rather than keep it on the Susky. I think they could look back at that one. I think that one stung them.
Bronzebacks need one guy, two guys.
I think they'll pick them up.
They just need one or two because like they have so many guys that are doing the national thing. They just need a little more roster flexibility.
Yep.
Because when they're at full strength, they are real good.
Oh,
and when they're at 75-50% strength, they're still very solid.
Yep.
But not great. And that is a team I think they could really have 6 guys and be great with all 6.
I still think Nick Audi's the angler of the year this year. Not with the KFL. I'm talking about overall. Like his year is unmatched this year. Anybody?
Drew Gregory?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Nick,
I'm just throwing stuff off the top of my head. I'm not disagreeing.
I think Nick's won more tournaments and more money than Drew.
Wow.
Now, the year's not over, but I mean it's close. But Nick has been fishing out of his freaking mind this year.
I mean, he's great. I mean, I saw his Facebook profile picture, but I think Gregory, man, especially on a national level, God, what's he won? Like
3,
4, 5?
I mean 3.
Bro, yeah, he's been nuts.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been.
I think Nick's won maybe 5
national
this year. Yeah, and local, national and local.
No, I'm talking just national, man.
I think he's won 3.
Damn, really? Fuck.
Josh said
that's crazy.
I mean, Todd says Josh Stewart. I don't know, man.
Stewart has been nasty, bro.
Yeah.
Like there's so many.
Stewart has won a lot of Southern events. I did forget about that.
Yeah, no, Stewart's nasty, man. I mean, the minors are nasty, both of them. Like, poof.
Yep.
Yeah, like there's just so many good guys now.
It's good. It's good debate, man. We'll have that. Maybe at hindsight or something like that. We'll talk about all that. But, all right, guys, we are getting out of here. Y'all, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it. Congratulations to the Final Four. The conference championship games are going to be on October 8th. Same day as Pickwick, man. It is what it is. I think it's going to hurt maybe some teams being able to fill their full rosters. Yep. The question is, who pays out?
I'm just saying that's
those.
I'm just saying that's an impressive stat.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure. So, all right, guys, we're out of here. Y'all have a good night. Have a great week.
Go try to enjoy the Cowboys Giants. I'm sorry if you spend your time watching it. Anyways,
yeah, it's 6-3 or something like that. Yeah, that's
woo, a barn burner.
Yep. All right, guys, we'll see you.